I mean, okay, hold up. And I'm gonna see if I can bring you on. So you guys just go ahead and introduce yourself and let me try to hook this up. I think I can do it. I think I can do it.
Right, because he pays for it, so he might be able to.
Our names, I'm not sure if you can see our
hold
names.
Hold up. Before you get started, let me click you in. Okay?
Okay.
Let me present you. Okay. Nope. There we go. You in, man?
Good to go.
Yeah, you on.
Perfect.
So let me just go ahead and introduce the program to my audience, okay?
Excellent.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry I'm a little late. Hey, we got some cool brothers joining us tonight. We're going to have a conversation. They're going to share some documents with you that was written on your land. You're going to read some stuff about how brothers was scrapping with these cats. They were scrapping. These are your people. These are the people that you're connected to. When you take yourself out of that and start placing yourself all over the world like most shines do, you'll be lost forever. So I'm going to let these brothers introduce themselves to you. Take it away, brother.
Excellent. First and foremost, man, I want to thank you for allowing us the opportunity to join your platform. Again, like you said, give this knowledge, give these gems, and wake our people up, man. Like I was talking about earlier. We got some work to do, folks. We're in last place right now on our own land, and we got home field advantage, and we're in last place. Shit don't make sense, y'all. Shit ain't adding up, y'all. But without further ado, my name is Chief Biko. Now let everybody else introduce themselves.
I'm Chief Quietwater. And again, thank you definitely for allowing us on your platform, and hopefully we can build really good this evening.
Quietwater.
Chief Alligator. Again, I extend olive branch as well. Thank you for allowing us to come on and share our experience, strength, and hope.
I'm Chief Blackcoat. It's gonna be fun tonight. We had a little conversation before we can get live, but I can't wait to get into it.
Well, listen, let me the audience will introduce themselves. They come with it. So I'll put up some of their comments as we're going through this, and maybe they'll have some questions for you. These are young people, guys. These are people who seeing that something's not adding up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's way more of them. And I was just telling the brothers, we gotta hook up. All that bullshit that we think keep us apart and what we gotta do because your shoestring is red and mine is blue color. Gotta look at that at another way. So here's some young minds I want to share with you guys. Brothers, go ahead.
All right, excellent. Like you was talking about earlier, first and foremost, gotta know like who you are, where you come from. Again, I just speak from my journey. I was off in another continent, thinking I was, I'm this, I'm that, and my grandma telling me exactly who the hell I am. Just picture that. Your family members are telling you who you are, yet you worried about what a school book is telling you where you come from. So that's one of the first things that we do on this channel. As far as our recovery. And basically what that definition is, recovery is getting back to a normal state of health, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And it's also recovering what was stolen and lost. So if we think about that, we have lost our land, or it's been stolen from us rather. Because we being military occupied right now, and we also need recovery because we don't know who we are as a group of people. So if you allow me, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen about some steps that we actually do, read off to our audience when we start our channel. So here, y'all let me know if y'all can see it. Everybody pretty good? Okay, perfect. So step one, man, is learn about your state or states your family originated from. My family originates from the state now known as South Carolina area. Aiken, as well as Lawrence, and my pop side in Georgia, state known now known as Georgia, who established that state what tribe and confederacy had jurisdiction over that area prior to the European invasion. Ask what nonprofit organizations you attend, what's your position on reparations. They either support it or they do not. No support equals no money, no nothing. However, if they do support it, they need children as well as adults need weekly classes for steps 1, 2, and 3. Step 6, don't support any European holidays. We got one coming up next week. How many of y'all are going to spirit cook your ancestors? Let that be known, y'all. Stop supporting any of these holidays. Step 7, avoid spending money with any small business that do not support your people. These gas stations, nail salons, subways, etc. 8, all businesses need operating cash. Spend money with American business. Spend money with your people. That's how we're going to do this stuff. Step 9, all other groups rely on our energy, operating cash to survive, and set trends to make other groups follow our lead. Everything that we do, we make cool. So why not start your own stuff and have everybody join you instead of you always trying to walk in the door of somebody else's establishment? Step 10, the government is bankrupt. Federal Reserve prints money, i.e. quantitative easing. It also burns money, i.e. quantitative tightening. The government operates off the full faith of its citizens to pay debt and taxes. American prisoners of war no longer have faith in this government, and we will move our financial support somewhere else in another direction. Again, they're using this fiat. They're not even using the actual resource, the actual gold and silver that comes out of the land. Step 11, teach your children 1 hour a day about the land or history they come from. A, have them learn about an American inventor. Have them know about our heroes. C, they should know the European that conquered the estate we live in, and they should know the nation of people prior to the European invasion militarily and culturally. Of course, practicing these steps will help us recover. All platforms, everybody, every state and American prisoners of war come in, should have steps 1, 2, and 3 advertised on their radio, social media, and newspapers. This in 13 weeks, 1 fiscal quarter, will bring us back to a common cause of recovery. So I definitely just wanted to share that. That's something that we read off every week. And not only read it off, but actually live by it as well. After joining, this channel, being put up on game, got a shout out Chief Alligator. He's like, do you have any money? I'm like, yeah, check my bank account. I got some money in there. Nah. Do you have any money? Gold, silver, tangible assets. Like we was talking about earlier. This dollar, the world around us is moving in a totally different way. They're getting actual resources from God. Gold, silver. So why aren't you? Why are you still playing with this fiat? It's all faith backed. It's not backed by anything. So why are we putting ourselves in a position to one be in last place on our own land and fighting over this fiat that is worthless? I just leave it right there. Leave it right there.
Can you let them know what tribe you come from? I know you said your peoples come from Carolina, what we know now is Carolina and Georgia. But what's your American tribe and what confederacy does your bloodline come from?
For sure. Can't forget that. When I was doing my research in the particular areas my folks from, which is again Aiken as well as Lawrence, that would be the Westo Americans as well as the Eno Shikori. Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. Americans, and that would be in that South Carolina area. They usually, I think they were combined with the Cherokee. But the actual confederacy would be the Creek on Muskogee.
Chief Black Coat, Chief Quietwater, y'all want to show y'all lineage?
Oh, my family on my paternal side comes from the Alabama. That would be the Creek Confederacy, and my mother's side would be from the Tennessee area, which is Choctaw.
How y'all doing? Chief Black Coat. We all on here doing our research. I'm out here in Georgia, or what is known today as current day Georgia. And my people from Florida and Georgia, we Cherokee Seminole over here.
You see how
and both my bloodlines as well come from the estate, what we know as Georgia. I'm Cherokee American. My mom is Cherokee. And it took me to get to chapter 4 of life for her to disclose that to me while shedding tears that she is Cherokee. So I ran around the majority of my life thinking I was Afro-American, Black, Negro, but truth be told, I am Cherokee American.
Let me ask you a question, brother.
You don't need it.
What was the point when you said you was an African American? What was the point when you found?
You have to unmute. You have to unmute yourself.
I'm not muted. Am I? I'm not muted.
Top right corner, maybe on your screen.
Oh.
1 second.
Around the bottom left.
Okay, can you hear me now, brother? Yeah. You were saying, and I like to ask everybody this question: what was the point when you was an African American, and then it just slapped you in the face? What was that like?
For me?
Yeah.
Okay. 2019, the 400-year anniversary. Once that got brought to my attention, that 2019 was the 400-year milestone. It was a spiritual journey where common sense just started coming in. On my mama's side of the family, they've always been organized and had family reunions. And we've always had hundreds of acres of land that go all the way back to the 1800s. And it just took me just going back through my family, asking, how did we get all this land? We couldn't be slaves.
Right.
And it finally came out. Yeah, my mom was crying when she told me, to be honest with you, because the European beat that out of my parents. My parents was born in the 40s and 50s. So they beat that out of them doing what we know now as Jim Crow. But on this channel, we dug a little deeper and found out that we're really being militarily occupied by the European, which is why he can kill us and never really have to pay any kind of lawful price for it, whether it's hanging us in the town square or killing us on video. It's actually worse now than it was in Jim Crow, if you think about it. Because hanging somebody in town square would be about maybe 1,000 people. When they kill us on video now, that's millions of people. So we're worse now.
Wow. Wow. So the 1,000 acres that your family has, are there any plans for it?
It's hundreds. It's not thousands. It's about 300. It's about 300. It's in the state. Got streets named after my bloodline's name, the whole nine. I was just a nigga, to be honest with you. I mean, you grow up you got to think about it. My generation, growing up in the 80s and 90s, our parents just sent us off to school and let the school system teach us. And it's crazy because during the family reunions early in the morning, they would have those historical readings about the family, but you're young, so you're playing with your little cousins. You're not in that meeting. And so years go by, and I thought I was something that I wasn't. And I would challenge anybody who listens to this video, start with your family. Forget about your religious belief. Forget about what your school is telling you. Nobody can tell you who you are but your own people. And you'd be surprised if you come from the South, which is the Creek Confederacy, and we'll get into that tonight, how there's been unlawful war since the 1800s against us. We like to hide behind segregation and Jim Crow, but these Europeans have actually been waging unlawful war on us, on this land. Chief Vico, you want to go ahead and get into it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great segue. And that pretty much just leads us into, of course, we know the Europeans occupying this land, but we came across a document that shows how they even started, the actual military branch to occupy us, and that was with the 1755 Militia Act. We were whooping their ass. And Frank up there in Philly said, you know what? We need to arm ourselves, because if we don't, the Americans are going to take this land back. They're going to take their land back, and we ain't got nothing to protect ourselves with. Oh, go ahead, Chief Black Hope.
No, I was saying they're gonna keep it. Those off the yard gonna take. They weren't gonna be able to infiltrate.
Correct. And if one thing about our channel, you'll come to notice as well. We don't just talk off the top. We actually like to show proof of claim everything that we do. If you don't believe us, we got the documents right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And this is it here, the Militia Act. So November 25th, 1755. I'm not gonna read through this whole thing, but definitely just wanted to highlight exactly why we said that they had to start their own militia, because if not, the Americans are going to wipe their ass off our land. So we see here, we see beginning, Governor Morris repeatedly asked the Assembly to pass a bill providing for establishment and discipline of a provisional military force, but the House had always either ignored the request or had evaded a definite answer. In the message on November 3rd, he had pointed out that while he was using or issuing commissions to such as were willing to take them, he had been unable, because of the lack of militia law, to form the people into such regular bodies at the present exigency requires within the next few days that the Assembly receive several petitions, both from federal and from exposed frontiers, asking specifically for the Militia Act for forts and garrisons as fears of Americans, because they're not going to switch roles with us. We got to make sure when we're reading their documents that we're not having an identity crisis of our own, because we're the Americans. They may call us again, reclassify us as all kind of stuff, Negroes, colored, African Americans. This is American tax increase. Pressure on the Assembly grew until Wednesday. So if we look in here, we were whooping their ass to get them off our land, because again, they're not from here. Who are these people setting up shop, taking our resources, our crops? So we knew back then, again, self-preservation, natural law, y'all foreigners. You are invading our territory, our area, just like any animal. Somebody's approaching that's dangerous. We're gonna make sure we handle that danger accordingly. We're gonna offer. So that's exactly what's going on here. And we just have to get back to that mindset as a group of people. We continue to take L's, but we aren't going on the offensive. How many times do we see our people, again, like Chief Alligator stated, being shot on camera? What happens? Ben Crump comes on the news. There's a trial, nothing happens. Paid leave for the cop, nothing happens. So we have to get back to pretty much nature, and actually protecting ourselves, because we are one with this land. So I definitely want to highlight that. Anybody kind of want to build off of that?
Yeah, this is the ugly topic in the room that we don't want to talk about as a group of people. And what we see is when Europe exiled its peasants and sent them to the Americas, they practiced the first law of nature, which is self-preservation, and they organized themselves into militias to be able to protect themselves from the American. And we see that first sentence, if you can highlight it, Chief Biko, in the second paragraph, where it says, as fears of Indian attacks increase. So they had enough common sense to know that we were killing them as they breached our land. So the question that we have to answer to ourselves as melanated people from America, when are we going to start organizing to protect ourselves from attacks from these people? That's my thought on that, Chief Blackcoat.
No, you kind of took it out of my mouth. I wanted to highlight that sentence as well. So if we can kind of reverse this today, because today is kind of we're thinking the opposite. We're thinking they're superior. This whole whatever that is. But clearly, you can see there was nothing superior about them, as fears of Indian attacks increased, fear of. So they came over here scared and nervous and pissing their pants and stuff of that nature. So we just got to kind of get back to who we were. Chibico, he pointed on that. Get back to who you are. Know who you are. And then all of this idea of white supremacy and things of that nature, it kind of goes out the window.
And I definitely agree. I just think that we as a people, we have to know this information first so that we can wake up. Like, us coming together every week and putting the information out there, Buck, you spreading information. I just think that we just have to, we need to start reading more, and we need to start understanding what really took place, and that we weren't all just what Chief Blackcoat just said. We were the superior. We were fighting them. We were beating their ass. So if we had that in our head, beating in our kids, heads when they're little all the way up through adulthood, we wouldn't have this mentality. So it has to start somewhere, I think. And it needs to start now, it needs to start ASAP for us to be able to move forward collectively.
How do you think we make that not happen? Because, you know, all I see is everybody want to be entertained. Everybody want to drink. Everybody want to smoke. Everybody, that's all they, I mean, that seems like that's all they know how to do. I mean, seriously. And you brothers and sister, you too, how hard is it to have a decent conversation?
Right. I think that we need to hold the people that are supposed to be making these decisions, X out the entertainers, the athletes and those type of people, and the people like the Congressional Black Caucus, you know, those people who are the ones that are sitting in those rooms and not just going along to get along, to just, you know, at the end of the day, we get absolutely nothing out of the deal. So really making those people do what they're supposed to actually do in the benefits for us.
How do you imagine we go about that?
Definitely not trying to vote to put them in. It has to be something tangible. I think that, you know, us just voting to be voting and just getting someone and replacing someone just for the sake of, oh, the last person didn't do what they were supposed to do. We have to hold them accountable. How? I don't know. We're gonna have to come up with some kind of plan.
You know what I think will win? Your own political party. You'll win every time.
Well, we have a just to piggyback on what Chief Quietwater said, boycott. Unfortunately, that's something that hasn't happened since Alabama in the 1960s. But the reality is, and we'll get into it as we get through this presentation tonight, the United States government has no money. It's bankrupt. And what we're going to get into tonight is when they quote unquote made us citizens in the 1960s, which they really didn't, because the Civil Rights Act doesn't apply to our bloodline. But nevertheless, they separated the dollar and gold relationship in 1970 with the Gold Standard Act. So my generation, Generation X, that's born in the 70s, and everybody after the 70s, we're born into a government that has no money. So stop supporting it. Like at this point, they're not as smart, like Chief Blackcoat said, when they use terms like white supremacy. How they supreme when they got a bankrupt government? Yeah. So it's almost like we want to go to a fair and get their coupons, but their coupons have no value at this point. So it's a mental thing with us. Stop supporting it. It's going to be hard for us to do that because we're the poorest group on this land. And being poor is a behavior. That means that you spend more than you bring in. So we're the number one consumers. That also means that you don't have enough patience to sit down. You don't know how to delay gratification. We gotta have it now, right? And I think, all we have to do is just use some common sense. You don't have any money. Why are you out supporting a Nike, an Adidas, an NFL, an NBA? They spitting in your face. They telling you they don't give a damn about you. So it's a self-esteem thing, and I think once you realize that you're not a slave, even if you trace your family back to a plantation, that doesn't make them a slave. That just means they were under military occupation on a military work camp. And we'll get into that tonight with the special field orders, how you weren't slaves. You're military occupied.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into it.
Sir, yes, sir.
And just back to what Bug was saying.
Keep it moving, baby. You got to keep that thing rolling now.
I got you.
While Chief Ego pull it up, like Buck was saying, Chief Alligator, he went more into detail about stop supporting the government. But once we do stop supporting it, we have to go back to the Confederacy. We do have to go back to our own parties, to our own way of life, and how we move through the jungle. So,
can you explain what the Confederacy is?
That was just an alliance, with our tribe.
Not stopping your bill, Chief Blackcoat, but can you pull the map up while he's talking so we can show their listeners why we say we come from confederacies?
Correct. That was just Creek Confederacy and Muskogee Confederacy. That's who we are. Before we got on to the channel, you was talking about touching the trees and getting in the water and being who we are. We're not who we are right now. We're playing their part. We're playing their games. So just getting back to who we are, to that alliance, the different tribes. I'm Cherokee. He's Sioux. He, whatever it was, we still, like Chief Alligator got in back his picture. We formed confederations and we fought for common interests or the common enemy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just kind of to bring it full circle, this image that I'm showing right now on the screen is highlighting pretty much our. I'm trying to get this thing right. Our confederacies,
Right.
our areas highlighted here. You see the Choctaw, Creeks, Chickasaw. Then we have Cherokee as well. So pretty much everything from the southeast region of North America that would be considered the Muskogee Creek Confederacy. And of course, a lot of people are probably familiar, or at least heard it in school. We got the Iroquois. We have them up here. Because those were the first Americans to actually teach these Europeans how to even set up a government. Articles of what? Confederation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we're gonna drill down today, guys. So when you think about that, and even look into their constitution, as far as this United States Constitution, it reads that no state can join any treaty, alliance, or confederation. Why? Because the Americans' form of government was a confederacy. And that's what we highlight here.
And one thing I want to point out too is all the information, we're not just pulling this out of the sky. Everything that we get is typically from the Library of Congress. It's documented information. It's not, you don't have to really go far. And now that we're in the information age, we're pulling this stuff directly from the government's Library of Congress.
Correct. And just to piggyback on that, if you can just scroll down to the bottom right of this map for his viewers on his channel, and we want to give the date of the map. Scroll all the way over to the right, to the key. All right, so you see on this map where it says 1763. So what we want his viewers to understand is the European did not set up the United States government until July 4th, 1776. So we're showing you a map that predates you. Not right. We're showing you a map that predates the United States government, and we're showing you that the people on the land had confederacies, not the rednecks that the Jewish media has programmed you through TV to believe that they operated our government. No, it's our government. That's why I fly the flag, because we're taking our government back. Can you show them the Confederate on the map, Chief Biko, so people can understand this map, and you can see loc.gov across the top, predates the Europeans' United States government. Confederacies is our shit.
See it right here. I like somewhere.
Right here, right above the purple where it says Confederate.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Iroquois Confederacy in this area. So they got us upside down and backwards. They got us thinking that Confederates were rednecks, when in reality, Confederate is an American form of government. The Europeans set up the United States government. That's not us. So as we do tonight, kind of stand on the edge of a coin, if you will. Don't lean on heads and say you're a slave. Don't lean on tails and say that you're a U.S. citizen. Just stand on the edge of the coin and let us walk you down this timeline so you can see who you are. Go ahead, Chibico.
Absolutely. Great point. Great point.
So Uncle Ruckus was right.
Hey, Uncle Ruckus is trying to drop some gems,
I hear
man.
you.
Was.
I'm telling you. But again, identity crisis. They came from nothing, people. These Europeans were peasants. They were sent here to be peasants, to work. So when they see this quote unquote new world that we have been already shit jumping, they're like, I want to be like y'all. And if that's too far fetched, why do you think every athlete, every rapper, we talking about industries, entertainment industries, why does everybody want to be like us? Everybody wants to be like us until it doesn't suit them.
Uh-huh.
We are the trendsetters. Everything we touch turns to gold. we are the Americans.
The most
So
beautiful
of course they
people.
would want to say, oh yeah, I'm American. No, you're not, you're European. We just saw you come off that boat. No shoes, no nothing. Y'all stepped on it. What are you talking about? So again, people, this is what we're trying to, wash out of your mind. Again, forget everything that was taught to you in this brainwashing institutions called school. You're being brainwashed from ages 6 to 18. Now it's time to go ahead and wash that filth off. So that's a great map there, and that's going to lead us right into who actually the opposition of us, which is the U.S. government, and who are the we the people. Because I know you'll see some people, they're like, yeah, we're the we the people. No, you're not. So we're going to actually show you exactly who those were. So we got 55 delegates that attended that convention to sign this constitution, right? Only 39 of them actually signed it.
The screen is blank. Can y'all see? I can't see anything. Can y'all see?
I can see. I can see.
You can see it? Okay. Let me go back real quick. What about now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Good, okay. So only 39 actually signed the Constitution. So 55 people attended, 39 signed the Constitution. Now just to, again, stand on the edge of the coin. Not saying you're a slave, not saying you're a U.S. citizen. We're just looking holistically, big picture. These 39 Europeans are setting up a constitution to break away from their parents, which would be England. So they're like, you know what? We don't want to be a part of these colonies anymore underneath your rule. We want to set up our own government. 39 people signed their name on that constitution. So 39 Europeans put their life on the line. Say, you know what? Fuck it. We're not getting treated how we need to be anyway. We're going to break away. And as 39 people, we're going to set up, we saying, you know what? We are willing to die for this. So reverse psychology. Why aren't you as an American willing to put your life on the line for your land? This is your land. You have 39 Europeans willing to sign their names saying we no longer want to be a part of your monarchy, one of your colonies. We're going to set up our own shop here. And these are Europeans, but you're American and you're not willing to do that same or take that same mindset for your land. That's the question we want to ask ourselves. Why aren't we?
And can you show them the image so people can get a visual? Because again, we're trying to just show his viewers on his channel why we're not a part of the U.S. government that they founded on July 4th, 1776. None of these people are your grandparents or great-grandparents or great-grandparents. These people come from a whole nother landmass. So you can see how mentally we have to recover, because when they say our forefathers, we have to be able to say that shit ain't got nothing to do with us. And see, as soon as we start saying that, yes, our forefathers, they know they got you. Because you're claiming as if you came on a boat from Europe and came over here. So great point out on that, Chief Nico. You want to move to the Constitution? So we just show them about the treaties and how there is no money.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because we have X amount of time and we want to get as much.
Look, we're going to walk them down now. We're going to walk them down. So after we just keeping in mind that picture, and it says who the we the people are, okay? So we the people of the United States. Let me actually make this a little bigger for y'all. We the people of the United States, in order to form, a more, where we at with it?
Article 1, Section 10.
Article 1, Section 10. Oh, yeah. Let me go there real quick. Okay, here we go. So yes, no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation. Remembering, we are the confederation. We have confederacies set up in their own government foundation. Their foundation of the U.S. government states that no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation. So they can't be American. They can't grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. So anything except gold and silver coin cannot be used to pay off debt. When
So
has
now we have to ask his viewers, have they ever been paid gold or silver?
correct?
Because if you haven't been paid gold or silver while you've worked at your job, then you've never paid off anything. That's per their rules. So what we're showing is if they lie about what money is, they lie about everything. It's just that simple, people. All we got to do is call them on the fact that this your Constitution, this your forefathers, right? This is the people you willing to ride for. Well, why aren't we getting paid gold and silver? Oops. That means everything else is a lie. If the money ain't right, nothing right.
Mm.
I just said, if the money ain't right, then nothing is right. And there's one more key piece we have to show within this document, and that would be that the treaty is the supreme law of the land. That would be Article 6. So we go here, and we see exactly what this says. Not this side of the way. So what it says, this Constitution and any laws of the United States shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. So this government is clearly saying that the treaty is the supreme law of the land. Now, keep that in your, store that away in your mental block, because we're going to show you some treaties and how this government lies. They already lied about the money. So really right there, you shouldn't believe this government off of anything that they say. If you're going to lie about your money, damn sure going to lie about everything else, right? So I'm going to highlight just two treaties.
Before you go to the treaty, go ahead and you pull up the map of Georgia real quick.
Yeah.
And the only reason why we want to pull up the map of Georgia is we just want to give people understanding why we can say that, why we can prove that we're prisoners of war. Everybody that comes from what we know as the Bible Belt or the Dirty South or Creek Confederacy. On this map here, you can see how Georgia, for those that don't know, on Mr. Buck's channel, Georgia was the 13th colony. That colony was established as a military buffer state, strictly to go to war against us in the southeast region of America. We can see that Georgia went from the East Coast all the way to the Mississippi River when they initially set it up. That was to cut off people in the North or the Iroquois Confederacy fighting in the Yamasee Wars in that Carolina area to keep them from coming down into what was Florida, because before Georgia, all of that was Florida. You can see on the map how it says West Florida, how it goes all the way through what we know now as Alabama, Mississippi. There was no Alabama and Mississippi. Those states didn't exist. So we have to get our minds right. Once they set up this military buffer state, now they're about to go into unlawful wars known as the Seminole Wars. If you can point out in that Constitution before we go to the treaties where Congress has the power to declare war, so that we can show the people on his channel how we're going to show that the European we basically just caught them in all the lies. They can't go to war unless their Congress declares it. So we're going to show you in the Constitution where their Congress has to declare war, but they don't have a document proving that they ever declared a Seminole War, and they don't have a document proving that there was a Civil War. So what we're going to show y'all tonight is there was no Civil War. It was actually a war against us in the skies of a Civil War. But when they reconstructed history, aka lied, they got us thinking that they fought against each other to free us, when really the peasants were fighting against the royal Europeans. Go ahead, Chico. You don't learn.
Hey, man.
We don't break this shit down like a shotgun.
Keep building. This is exactly what he's talking about right here. So this is Article 1, I believe it's Section 8. And if you look here, it says that Congress has the power to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water.
Can you highlight that so his viewers can see it?
Yes. So again, to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. Didn't they capture our land and water? But again, like Chief Alec stated, there was you will not find a declaration of war on the Seminole, but we heard about the Seminole War in school, or the brainwashing camps, I should say. We see one as well as Civil War, wasn't a war, it was rebellion. Their president says that, which will show. So if the treaty, which we'll get into now, is saying it's the supreme law of the land, but there were no declarations of war ever made, then how can they do this lawfully underneath their government? They can't. It's all bullshit. It's all BS.
Null and void.
Exactly. Null and void. So we go here, Treaty of Moultrie Creek, 1823. And this is basically a treaty to stop battles. I believe this is in Florida. Actually bring this up a little bit bigger for you all. So we just skip down here to the bottom portion. We'll see exactly what's being done. So done at the camp of Moultrie Creek in the territory of Florida, this 18th day of September, 1823, and of the independence of the United States. So we see here, and of the independence of the United States. That means basically dependent of the United States. So regardless of what they say, we capture this land. So again, Congress never declared, which is part of what the U.S. government declared war on the American, yet they're capturing land unlawfully. So one, we didn't call them in a lie about their money. We didn't call them in a lie about their treaty. What else are they lying about, people? Why do we still have faith in this government? Why do we still have faith in this system when we obviously are showing they have no good intent for you? It's never meant or built for you in the first place. You're part of confederacies.
We're throwing a lot at your viewers, Mr. Buck. Is there anything that you want to ask, or is anybody in the chat got questions? Because I know we're throwing a lot at you.
Oh no, man, they with it, man.
Okay.
If they got some questions and stuff, I'll put them up.
Okay.
I'll dig out the questions and put them up on the screen.
10-4.
Perfect.
Keep rolling.
And look, that's not the only treaty. Because again, we're not going to bore you to death. But again, once it's a coincidence, two is a trend, y'all. They're doing the same play. They're running the same play on Madden, and we still getting beat. Come on, guys, let's start picking up on this. Same thing here. And this here is the Treaty of Payne's Landing, 1832. So as we see here, same verbiage at the end, done at Camp Payne's Landing on the Ocklawaha River in the territory of Florida on the 9th day of May, 1832, and of the independence of the United States. So, yeah, U.S. government didn't sign off on this, but we still gonna take y'all shit. Why? Because we got guns and we can. So regardless of what they say, this land that we just fought y'all for is gonna be ours. But again, the government never signed off on it. What war was being waged? And you won't find that document. You won't find that declaration of war on the Seminoles. But again, we all know in school, there was a Seminole War, right? So again, just wanted to highlight that as well.
And add one more thing in on there for the listeners. At the same time that these unlawful wars are going on, there's also the Indian Removal Act taking place. So what's happening is those that aren't going on the Trail of Tears into what we know now as Oklahoma, those are the people that remained in the dirty South. We are the descendants of those that had to go through Jim Crow, reclassification. The reason why they reclassified us is because we was in unlawful Seminole Wars. So everybody in Oklahoma stole our birthright. I'm Cherokee, real deal. And so what they're not telling us during the Indian Removal Act is what happened to all the people that didn't go to Oklahoma. We still down here fighting with these Europeans to this day. that's how we lost our birthright, and they started reclassifying us through the birth certificates. So every generation, we go from Negro to colored to Black to Afro-American, while we got a bunch of Mongoloid-looking people in Oklahoma claiming to be Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Seminole, when that's really us.
Absolutely.
They stole our birthright.
And you can even go to their site and you'll see that a lot of their establishment will say after 1830. When was this Cherokee government established? Oh, 1865, 1870 something. It's like, I don't know, y'all. But y'all come from east of the Mississippi. It predates what you're saying your government was established. And they had it right in plain sight, like Chief Quietwater stated earlier. All of this stuff is public knowledge, easily accessible. Library of Congress, government documents.
Chief Quietwater, anything you want to throw in on what we're talking about before we move to the Emancipation Proclamation and debunk that there was no Civil War?
No, I think we're rolling pretty good. He's pretty much explaining everything.
Chief Blackcoat?
I'm loving it. Chief, do your thing, man.
Hey, man, you gotta make sure we pull through this thing. So we're going, again, like you stated, just jump into the emancipation real quick. Because, you know, again, we've always been told that, you know, we were the slaves, Abe Lincoln freed us, and that European, that crack ain't free nobody, man. Damn sure ain't free us. We gonna highlight here. Let me see here.
Can you do a search real quick for his viewers on the word Black, Negro, and colored? Because what you're told in brainwashing facilities is that this document pertains to us. But mine have none of the identifiers that they call us by is in this document. So the question that we're asking the people on his channel is, why are you assuming that you were the one that this document applied to when Negro, Black, or colored is not used in this document? Why do you automatically take the slave position?
Identity crisis.
We want to include ourselves in everything that they give us, basically. We just insert ourselves in every way possible.
But it happened through the school system, you know. It took our time to do diligence and do this, but yeah, the school taught us that we was them and we were where they are.
You can see him doing the work, the search terms. None of them are popping up. He's done Black, colored, Afro-American, and Negro. None of those words are in this Emancipation Proclamation. So the question we're asking the people on Mr. Buck's channel is, why are you saying this applies to you? Let's go a step further. He supposedly wrote this document for a civil war. Can you type in Civil War and see if this pops up on this document? Nope. So let's put in the word rebellion and see if that comes up. Boom. So the president at that time, Lincoln, he's recognizing what's going on as a rebellion, not a civil war. So the question is, who's rebelling? Were you citizens of the United States government in 1863? To the people on Mr. Buck's channel, that's a question that we're asking y'all. Were you United States citizens in 1863? Is anybody y'all in your chat responding to Mr. Buck?
No.
Okay. I'll give him the answer. The answer is no. You didn't become a citizen until 1965. So who the hell is this document pertaining to in 1863? It's pertaining to the peasant from Europe that was rebelling against its own government. And we're going to show you how. Can you go to the amnesty document? So we just showed you a document that Abraham Lincoln wrote. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. The president behind Abraham Lincoln is called Andrew Johnson. We're going to show you the document that Andrew Johnson wrote, and we're going to prove to y'all there was no Civil War. And we're going to also show you what he says about the Europeans who claim the rebel flag.
So again, like you stated, this is the president at the time, Andrew Johnson. And we're going to see exactly what he's stating is actually happening here. Again, we do a quick find, quick little search, rebellion. The objective is to suppress the existing rebellion, to induce all persons to return to their loyalty and restore the authority of the United States, issue proclamation offering and pardon to certain persons who had directly or by implication participated in said rebellion. So again, multiple rebellions. I'm just going to skip down here to this first portion. So this here is who he's trying to give pardon to, the president at the time, Andrew Johnson. So it says first, all who are or shall have been pretended civil or diplomatic officers or otherwise domestic or foreign agents of the pretended Confederate government. Their own president at the time is saying that it was a fake Confederacy. Does that not line up with their Constitution? They can never be a part of the Confederacy because they're not the Americans. So their own president at the time is saying that it was a pretended, one, Confederacy, and that two, it was a rebellion, not a civil war. Because again, who has the power to declare war? Congress. President's part of Congress. He said, this ain't no war, this is a rebellion. Just a bunch of Europeans fighting against other Europeans. Ain't got nothing to do with us. We the Americans. Again, we're on the edge of the coin, looking at both sides.
Point where you got the document from as well, so they'll know that we're not doing Wikipedia searches. This was coming straight from the Library of Congress.
Library of Congress right up there. Library of Congress. So again, he's saying it multiple times. We being real bold with it. Pretended Confederate government. Ray Kerman. Registration.
Question on that, Mr. Buck, from your audience, because I know that's going to be a hard pill to swallow, that we're showing there was no Civil War, and we're also showing that their own president is calling the Confederates, the wannabe rednecks in the South, fake or pretended.
No, the chat doesn't have any questions. You know, they're with it. I mean,
Okay.
you know, they know that this is bullshit, man. And you guys are just putting icing on the. I mean, hit it.
Facts.
Yeah.
Excellent. So our next little thing would have been the Freedmen's Bureau. Because you know that's another thing too, Mr. Buck. We like you said, we want to be everything but the American, but from this land. We want to be Creole of color. We want to be African American, which nobody knows what that is. We want to be Negro, everything. Hell, what is it now? People of color, POC, minority, anything you want to attach ourselves. Hell, we just want to jump on something. We just want to be part of something. So I'm gonna show you a document that a lot of people always say this document pertains to us. Our 40 acres and a mule, the freedmen. So we gonna highlight again. I'm gonna do a quick search. I'm not gonna read through this whole thing, but again, just terms that we were being called at that time. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in colored, not found. Okay, we do black, not found. Okay, yeah, let's try African American. Yeah, ain't got nothing with African in it. So why do we think that this pertains to us, people? Who was getting 40 acres and a mule? We're gonna show you who's getting 40 acres and a mule. Right, we ain't gotta jump long into it. Being enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled, that there is hereby established an War Department to continue during the present War of Rebellion, again, there goes that rebellion term, and for 1 year afterward, the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands, to which shall be committed as herein provided. Supervision and the management of all abandoned lands and the control of all subjects relating to refugees and freedmen from rebel states. Chief Alligator just highlighted, we wasn't a part of this government. So who are these refugees and freedmen from these rebel states? Who would they be? European peasants, right? Because they're a part of that government. So
why do we tell them what we were a part of, so the viewer can be clear? We come from tribes and confederacies. They come from states.
Absolutely.
I'll say it one more time. They come from states. We come from tribes and confederacies. We can't be refugees and freedmen from rebel states. That's the shit they set up in July 4th, 1776. That had nothing to do with the Confederacy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we just highlighted who the Freedmen's Bureau applies to. So it ain't apply to Mammy, Cotton, you, nobody in your family. They still are imitating who it applies to. Again, it's refugees from those freedmen states. And that was for that Civil Rebellion.
Do we have Special Order 15 or no?
We can. I can pull it up real quick.
And the only reason we're going to bring up Special Order 15 is that's where you hear Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Minister Farrakhan, when they talk about 40 acres and a mule. What we're going to show you is anytime that language comes out of a document called Special Order. So they got Special Order 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let's just think jurisprudence for a minute. A military general can't give you rights. This was a military letter that said 40 acres and a mule. So you see how confused we are about how their system works? We're jumping up and down and you owe us 40 acres and a mule. A general can't tell you that. Congress makes their law. So you can see when we were talking earlier before we went live, how we're being infiltrated by people who look like us. And that's a powerful thing that we got to deal with. Anybody who gets up and spreads misinformation among our people and get us off and running thinking, yeah, 40 acres and a mule, do your homework, read the document. You're like, damn, how the hell a general gonna give you land?
Right.
Great point. Let's put it up here. And no, exactly like you said. We already seeing how their government structure works. We know it's bullshit. But if they actually wanted to abide by it, ain't no general, ain't no lieutenant gonna give you land. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. This is a little slow. I'm gonna come back to that.
Can you pull it, Chief Firewater? Special Order 15.
Hold on, let me.
We just want to show the viewers. We just want to just provide proof of claim to the audience. We're not going to sit up here and talk about something that we can't prove, so that we can pretty much just, the system's already broken. All we got to do is just educate ourselves and call them on their shit. There is no money. We supposed to be getting paid gold and silver. So you wonder why you never pay off your house. You wonder why you always got to pay tax on it, because you're not paying gold and silver. So the Jewish people and those in the know, they take their fiat and convert it into gold and silver. Meanwhile, the everyday people on the land, they just work for coupons. And you wonder why you don't own anything. Well, you're not paying with gold and silver.
Hold on one second.
I got it pulled up. Can y'all see it on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So again, this is from the general. Special Field Order 15, and it's actually in Carolina, on the coast of the islands from Charleston South. The abandoned rice fields along the river, 30 miles back from the sea, and the country bordering the St. Johns River, Florida, are reserved and set apart for the settlement of the Negroes, now made free by the acts of war and the proclamation of the President of the United States.
That's a contradiction right there in itself.
Yeah. First contradiction right there.
Emancipation Proclamation, did you see the word Negro?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all stay with us now.
He buying himself some time.
Yeah,
She calling us Negroes. Lincoln didn't say Negroes. Y'all see the game?
Mm-hmm. The same game that they play with the state and federal law. We'll be specific when we talk about Jim Crow laws, whoop your ass, but when it comes to the federal law, we're going to call y'all civil. We're going to bring everybody in. We're not going to say the Negroes have the right to do this. We're going to say civil has the right. So again, great point out there.
Can you type in 40 acres so we can see where that language comes from on this document?
Yeah. See if it pop up. Probably just be 40. Making a call to that. I'm sure if it do it since it's not.
You may have to spell it out. 40. Yeah. And it's probably because it's not like a PDF. That's probably what we can't.
No, it's attachments to it.
There it is at the bottom.
Yeah, here you go.
It's highlight that so the people can so this is where that 40 acres and a mule language comes from. Chief Nico's gonna highlight it so the viewers can see. When they talk about we never got our 40 acres and a mule, a general in an army can't give you 40 acres.
Exactly. But the three parties' name will subdivide the land under the supervision of the inspector among themselves and such others as may choose to settle near them, so that each family shall have a plot of not more than 40 acres of tillable ground. So again, as Chief Alligator highlighted, general can't give you no land. So all this shit, like Chief Black was saying, he was buying himself some time. He knew they couldn't control the Americans in that area. So he said, y'all good to go, y'all good to go. Look, y'all get 40 acres, whatever he could say to make sure he could take his ass back where he was safe and sound. Because if not, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have made it out of it.
And to show you how dumb we are, just last year, they gave us a slave holiday based off of a different special field order. There was another special field order in Texas where a military general declared those Negroes to be free. And now y'all think Congress makes their law. A general can't write a special field order and say, okay, you free. So now you got a slave holiday that don't even really apply because a military officer can't free you, but it does prove that you're prisoners of war. Who's got to come down there and give you something? The military. And that's what we're proving tonight, that we're prisoners of war. We were not slaves. We're prisoners of war to this day. We've been declassified, and it's a sophisticated version of prisoner of war. You're not in chains and shackles, but look at all the rights you got. Gentrification, the poorest group. You don't have neighborhoods. You don't have communities. You got poor schooling. Everything rhymes with a prison.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Chief Whitewater, Chief Blackcoat, y'all want to build on that?
Touched on it. An officer cannot give anything, make laws, and we just run with it. You know, we think that again, we're including ourselves in this 40 acres and a mule and all this language that they were just throwing at us and see what sticks. And we just pretty much allow whatever, we just took whatever they gave us and just ran with it and think that it was all inclusive. But we were never meant to be a part of the bigger picture, basically. They had their plan together, executed it, continued to execute it, and we are outside and continue to be outside. Benign and neglected, like we always talk about. We're ignored.
Back to that special order 15, down on my notes I put, who did get the 40 acres in the middle? So we need to address that, unpack that one, and then how Chief Alligator was touching on Texas and Juneteenth. Anything that's a party, it's a party, we with it. Don't matter what the documents say. What, Juneteenth? They're recognizing us, but it's a holiday. Spend some money, consume, and we gotta just really get out that mentality of partying all the time. That's our number one distraction right now. We're not taking anything pretty much serious, thinking it's just liquor ourselves up and everything will be okay. And it's not gonna happen. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse. So I'll just shout out to us, reading these documents and touching on. I'm pretty sure Mr. Buck viewers are very intelligent people too, and we're just pretty much laying it out as far as the paperwork. But this is what it is.
No, you guys putting out the information, man. This is stuff that we can see what's going on, but a lot of times we may not be able to put our fingers on it. You guys are putting your fingers right on it.
Appreciate that.
Go.
That's gonna lead us into our last documented here. And that's going to be the treaty with Choctaw and Chickasaw. Each one of the quote-unquote 5 civilized tribes had a treaty with this government in 1866. So we're going, just do another quick search to see where we pop up in this document. Let's see. So no blacks, but there is something regarding Negroes. So we go down here to Article 4. It says the said nations further agree that all Negroes not otherwise disqualified or disabled shall be competent witnesses in all civil and criminal suits and proceedings in the Choctaw and Chickasaw courts. So basically, the Negro has jurisdiction to go between or go wherever he wants to, pretty much. Because why? They are the Americans. So you can have power in this new government's sections. So criminal and civil. You can have, your seats there. Any law to the contrary notwithstanding, and they fully recognize the right of the freedmen to a fair remuneration or reasonable and equitable contracts for their labor, which the law should aid them to enforce. And they agree on the part of their respective nations that all laws shall be equal to their operation upon Choctaw, Chickasaws, and Negroes. And
So let's stop right there real quick so we don't confuse the reader. There's two different people. Negro and freeman are not the same.
Correct.
That first sentence says the said nations further agree that all Negroes, not otherwise disqualified or disabled, shall be competent witnesses in all civil and criminal suits and proceedings in the Choctaw and Chickasaw courts. Any law to the contrary notwithstanding. Here's another group of people that are about to say, and they fully recognize the right of the freedmen to a fair remuneration on reasonable and equitable contracts. Who's the freedman? It's the European. He's the freedman because he rebelled against his government. So you got to remember, Europeans should not be in Oklahoma claiming to be a part of 5 civilized tribes. They were adopted in. They stole our birthright. The Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, and Seminole come from the southeast region or the east side of the Mississippi. So how are you going to say that same 5 tribes are from Oklahoma? Well, what happened to the people east of the Mississippi? Oh, those that didn't go into Oklahoma, you can't denationalize because we were part of tribes and confederacies. Your paper assassinated us and you took our name Cherokee and put Negro or colored or black.
Yeah.
So now you got people from a whole other landmass, don't even look like us, running around claiming to be us. All we got to do is look them dead in the eyes and say you're full of shit. And they come back to their own documents because they can't tell their lies straight. Started with the money. It ain't no damn money.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And it even says here that upon that all laws shall be equal in their operation upon Choctaws, Chickasaws, and Negroes, and that no distinction affecting the latter shall any time be made. So they're saying that they're on equal playing field with Choctaws and Chickasaws. The Negro is. So they're telling you who the American is in this document.
Can you type in Civil War so they can also see that this is the treaty that is supposed to end the fake Civil War amongst the Americans? But even in their own document, they call it a rebellion. There's no lawful document that says Civil War. So now you can understand the brainwashing that the school system has done to us. They got us thinking that something happened that didn't.
Okay, we have a question from Lisa Cypress. She says, how does this apply to those who have no treaty?
As far as
tribes that don't have a treaty?
Yes.
Okay. What we're showing tonight, based on the 2 treaties that we've read, the Treaty of Moultrie Creek and the Treaty of Payne's Landing, they were doing unlawful wars against all the Americans in the southeast region of America. So all of this shit is unlawful. The only way to write this is they got to get off the land.
Right.
Because their Congress never declared war. And what we know as the Seminole Wars, and their Congress also never declared a civil war. So all this is rogue military killing people, which is how we go through Jim Crow, which is really military occupation.
And don't ever really worry about the treaties, because even when the treaties were signed, what was still going on? Treaties are supposed to, accept peace. So during these treaties, they're still warring. Again, the treaty don't matter. And then back to the whole government, no money, none of it matters. So never get stuck up on the treaty at all. The treaty is just kind of a facade, in my opinion. Like, okay, whatever, but they're still warring. It makes no sense. There was no real treaty.
Can you go back?
The Seminole Wars never ended.
I'm sorry, Chief Paul. What I mean is
No, I was just saying they never ended.
Correct. Can you pull up that treaty that we went over earlier so we can answer that person's question and show them with a treaty how all of this shit was unlawful? Because the government didn't sign them in the southeast region of America. Their military signed it.
I forgot about that part.
And it also said independent of the United States, right?
Correct.
Part. So if you could highlight that section, Chief Biko. So
click on it. All right. So done at Camp Moultrie Creek. Yeah,
it's not going to let you click on it. I'll read that sentence to the person that asked that question. This is the Treaty of Moultrie Creek, which was done in Florida. And this is what, 1823, I believe?
Correct.
Okay, it says, done at Camp Moultrie Creek in the territory of Florida, this 18th day of September, 1823. Here's the key. And of the independence of the United States. So now when you scroll down and look who signed this treaty, nobody from their Congress signed it. These are military people. So what we have to understand is they were waging unlawful war on us. Their government never declared war, and their government never did the treaty. Duval is what Jacksonville, Duval is the county that the city of Jacksonville is named after. Jacksonville is named after Andrew Jackson, which was the president who went into all these unlawful wars. And then Duval, William P. Duval, is the county of Jacksonville. So these rogue military people were stealing land and then naming counties and then reaping the benefit of taxable income off the people that was in their jurisdiction. And that's how they got us under their jurisdiction today. You're paying taxes to a fraudulent government.
That's the point. And just to highlight too, because I was guilty of it before I came into this knowledge, but you hear a lot of people saying, Duval, that's my county, I'm repping. So you repping the enemy of your people. Who your people fought against, Andrew Jackson, Jacksonville. Everybody knows. Americans did not fuck with him. He would go down there just to kill Seminole Americans. Our people, not knowing this information, I'm from Jacksonville, man. I'm Duval. And the same thing, you find the same thing in every state.
Did we answer your viewer's question, Mr. Buck?
Was that answered, Mrs. Cypress? Hey, I'm gonna put a link. To the chat in the chat. So if anybody want to come on and ask these brothers some questions, please feel free. Yeah, brother, you guys can continue, man.
All right. But again, like we stated earlier, none of these documents you're going to continue to see them say rebellion, late rebellion. So we can't continue to think that it was a war. Again, we already just highlighted Congress has the power to declare war. They never declared this Civil War, just like they never declared the Seminole War. So like you stated, all this shit is unlawful. So what we're doing now is just highlighting these contradictions. Your foundational government document is saying all of this, but your actions in these documents aren't aligning up. So all of this is fake. All of this is null and void, as Chief Blackcoat stated.
And it's hard what they did with the Jews, which is a sect of the European, with their control of media. They keep us so distracted that you're not supposed to be able to sit down and do what we're doing. And so we want to thank Mr. Buck for allowing us to come onto his platform, because this is what we have to do. We're in last place as a group of people. We need to sit down and really figure out who we are, what tribe we come from. Let's understand what happened in the area where our families come from, and let's start getting these people shit.
We have a caller joining us. You guys ready to take a phone call?
Yes, sir.
Cool. This is J.W. Christopher. Welcome, brother. How you doing tonight?
Yes, sir.
Cool. This is J.W. Christopher. Welcome, brother. Can you cut your volume down?
We should mute ourselves too.
Oh, he jumped off. But anyway, I'm posting the link back in the chat again. You guys come on and ask these brothers some questions, because they seem to have a lot of stuff that may be confusing some of you guys, especially when you're going back and you're doing your genealogy and trying to find your families and stuff. You may be looking in the wrong place at the wrong thing. They may be under something else, somebody else. So these brothers, you can see, as you can tell, they've done their homework. These are the type of cats you want to ask questions. Compare your notes against. These are the ones you talk to.
I'm noticing some of the questions in your chat, Mr. Buck. Where
can you see it? Can you see the questions?
Yeah, I can see some questions being asked, and the easiest way for me to explain the questions about records, you have to understand Trail of Tears was an exodus on this land. If you did not go into Oklahoma, you descend from the people that lost their birthright, which is everybody on this channel. Because we were in unlawful wars with the European, the Seminole Wars. That's the part of our history that they never talk about. They'll tell you about the Trail of Tears in 1830, but they're not going to tell you about the treaty we just read in 1823, that they were warring against the Southeast region in North America, which is why they created the 13th colony, Georgia, which was a military buffer state. It was designed to split the South in half, so people from Virginia and the Carolinas couldn't run into the Creek Confederacy. And so that storyline runs all the way up until today. That's why the South had Jim Crow laws. Jim Crow is a fancy term for military occupation. You couldn't go in European section of town, or they could hang you in the middle of the town square. Nobody get charged with a murder charge. So our ancestors aren't going to tell us this because they're embarrassed if they're still alive. They don't really want to tell our generation and the next generation just how nasty it was. But they were living under military occupation. We get the right of integration, but look at all our complaints today that rhyme with a prisoner. Lack of business ownership, lack of employment, lack of opportunity, gentrification, redlining. Look at all these issues, school to prison pipeline. All of that shit means prisoner of war on your own land.
Hey man, we got about 3 people online, man. I'm gonna let them go back to back to back to back. Okay.
Right.
JM Freehawk, what's up, homie?
Peace to the chat, Barry. Peace to Kerry. How you doing, my brother?
Everything's cool.
Peace to everybody on the panel. Appreciate y'all very, very much. My question is, being that we had no agreement with the government, but were also, because of the military that we were warred against us, is that why today, because the police are paramilitary, they can get away with killing us without immunity? With immunity, excuse me.
Okay, I think I understand your question, and I'll start off and y'all can build on it. We never went into agreement with the European. You can't find a document that says Negro, Black, or colored went into some type of agreement with the government. In the 1960s, during the Civil Rights era, we assume that's when we integrated. But my question to you would be, who was civil?
Okay, I understand that part, but what I'm saying is, because the police are paramilitary, the fact that they can get away with immunity for actually killing us with no consequence, is that why that take place?
Correct, because we're prisoners of war on our own land. They have layers of defense. They have the militia is the ground floor, then it would be their police, then their sheriff, then their DEA, FBI, CIA. It don't matter the alphabet. These are just people that can kill us or enslave us in their prison system and basically get away with it scot-free. Yep, that's exactly why they can murder us on video and nobody go to jail for murder most of the time. Unless you burn down a police station like in Minnesota with George Floyd. If that doesn't show everybody from 2020 that you're prisoners of war, they had the knee on the man's neck for 9 minutes. And if you didn't protest for 1 week straight in Minnesota and burn the police station down, them people would have never charged him for that. That ought to tell you something ain't right with your status under this government.
Cool, man.
Well
Thanks
answered. Thank you, brother.
All right, brother. We got another phone caller, Wildflower. How you doing, love? Wildflower?
Hello?
Ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You have the mic.
Okay, thank you for the show. Appreciate the information. I'm just wondering, with all this information, what can one do at this point? Is it something that we can do at this point, given all this information? What would be the first step to help? Are we prisoners for life, or is it something that, what can we do?
I'll jump off the porch first. The one thing that we never wanted to do, ma'am, we have to organize to be able to protect ourselves, and violence cannot be taken off the table. Number two, we have to boycott all of their businesses because there is no money. That's the one thing we never want to talk about as a group of people is self-preservation is the first law of nature. Why is it that we don't want to organize and arm ourselves so that if you kill one of our kids, we don't have to worry about their system finding you guilty. You'll just come up missing anonymously.
Mm-hmm.
I think also stop looking for entertainers to save us. Stop looking for entertainers to be our voice collectively. I think that's one of the main things because it keeps us distracted. So, which also falls back on us being organized and sticking to a plan and executing that plan.
Okay, so how does finding our genealogy, does that help us as far as being prisoners?
Yeah.
Finding our genealogy? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Finding our genealogy, how does that help us as far as being prisoners?
I think understanding where you come from and knowing this information, knowing that we were not inferior, and having a sense of pride in what we really went through and what we really, where we came from and what we actually had going on. So I think that's a part of it for sure, is knowing the information.
Right,
Yeah,
claiming our
genealogy
rights.
is just like
Go
where
ahead.
your feet lie. I was just saying genealogy is just letting you know where your feet lie, where you're from. We're from this soil. So that just roots you back to who you are, number one. And yeah, that exposes your status in this government. That prisoner of war, when you're Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Seminole.
Yeah. Well, now we have people, we don't even know who's human anymore. Now you have hybrid people, all kind of beings on this planet. Now you don't know who's who, and they can look just like us. But thank you. I don't want to hold you up. Appreciate the show.
Okay, thank you, love. We got James Brown Jr. next. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm just I've been popping in and out, just enjoying the show. Some very intelligent people. You know, all of y'all are my people, and I just respect um just the information that y'all are providing for these folks that haven't gone in depth like how we have. But when it comes to the genealogy, I think the woman Wildflower, there's nothing like understanding who you are. And then once you understand who you are, then everything makes sense as to why everything is directed towards your people. And so from that
Absolutely.
point on, you'll wake up and break the curse that genealogy has, that it'll just show you, and then you start moving in a different way. You start saving money. You start thinking about, you know, did your ancestors sell their land or was it stolen? Because it's a whole bunch of people that's in the hood and the projects don't even know that they might have 50 acres, they might have 1,000, I don't know. But this is the key to breaking the cycle of self-destruction and poverty. We have the key. It's just about, you know, people waking up and finding out like who they are.
No, that's an excellent point too, James. One thing we like to say is, show me a group of people that don't know their history, and I'll show you a group of people with fucked up politics. So, like you said, if you don't know where you come from, then how can you know where you're going? You don't even know who you are as an individual, let alone as a group. So, like you stated, it's super important to have that foundation, be rooted in this place known as America. Like actually understand that, no, I have ancestors that have died on this land. We come from this land. So, like Chief Quiet was stating, that gives you a sense of pride. Okay, I'm from this land, and I'm being treated like this on my land. That shit ain't adding up. And once you know, like you said, who you are and why that is, because then it gets sets a different mindset. Okay, now we need to start moving different. Now I'm American. White person say, European say I'm American. Nah, that's disrespectful. That should be like the N word to us. When another group says that they're American. Nah, I'm American. Watch your mouth.
Right. Right. And then like
it's what you're sharing, brother. Ask yourself this one simple question. If your family doesn't have immigration papers, but every European that's on this land, they can point to somebody in their family that came through Ellis Island in New York. Why are you letting another group of people claim to be American, but you got big mamas buried in the land here? It don't even make sense.
correct. And it'll show for all the people that's like lost and they don't know if they African or not. Them census records will show you who's from here and who's not. It'll show if you are African or not. That's the trick. And they taught us to be scared to read. So, it's just a different. I started moving so different because of 2020. Just 2020 broke me, and it just, I never went back. And because I needed to, I had answers I had questions that needed to be answered, and my ancestors told me to look inside the family. And once I saw everything, I said, "Oh no, I'm finna go get this land," and that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. My stuff is in underwriting. Once you wake up to the truth, all of this stuff, like, it'll make you mad because these people actually show what they did since the very beginning. And people don't understand them funny papers and them, what they put on them postcards or what the Indians, like, all of that, it don't have nothing to do with no Native Americans. Y'all gotta wake up.
Mm-hmm. Great point.
Cool, Mr. Brown. Thank you, brother, for your phone call. Please don't be no stranger. All right, man. Y'all go ahead and close it out. Get busy with it. Give us the last spoonful.
I know I'm hand to wrap off to you there, Chief Alligator.
We've provided all the documents.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just close with what the gentleman that just got off the phone. He made a mention about postcard. So let's think about what we know as Jim Crow era, which went from 1865 to 1965. They love using terms to hide unlawful wars. How could they hang us and put that image on postcards and sell it all across the land if you wasn't in unlawful wars? How could they hang you in town square and nobody go to jail for murder unless you was under unlawful wars? See, they tell you that you were free as a slave, but then what the hell do you call the next 100 years? They story don't add up. No, you was in unlawful wars called the Seminole Wars since the 1800s. And those wars didn't stop until 1965 when they gave you the right to vote and said that we're going to be civil with you. But they were never specific about righting the wrong that they did to us. The Jim Crow laws say Negro, African descent, and colored people couldn't go in restaurants, stadiums, hospitals. They didn't say in the Civil Rights Act that we're undoing that. They just said we're going to give a Civil Rights Act. They didn't call it a Negro Rights Act. And so you see how they brought all these fabricated groups of people under that umbrella. And here we are 60 years later, and you wonder why immigrants have taken over our neighborhoods. Because who the fuck is civil?
We got Lisa Cypress from the Accomac calling.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine.
Hey, I'd like to say that first of all, it's a really good program, and I want to congratulate the group on their research. And what I also wanted to say was that I think that we as a people, we need to have things delivered to us in different ways, sometimes to inspire us, enlighten us, and so this is a good way to present it. It's a different point of view, calling it a prison of war situation, which it is a prison of war situation, not even different, but I think various people have said it in different ways at different times, referring to different things, but the reality is this. So, like the young man was mentioning, it's just not, your genealogy and what are you going to do about it? Yeah, all these things were unlawful. Colonization in itself is unlawful. Everything they did is unlawful. They don't belong over here. Trespassing is unlawful. Okay. So the end point is, the end game is, I would like to know, first of all, you all as individuals, what are you personally doing to claim your identity, to change your status, and to find out who you are beyond being just a Cherokee or a Choctaw or, a Seminole, because those are very broad terms. And, and what are you doing to actually attach yourselves to your people? Because the real power is in, the real genealogy, finding who you specifically, your people are, what land they have a right to, what land they are attached to, what soil they come from, and then going ahead and claiming your identity, reestablishing your people, your nation, because as nations re-emerge, that's what the power is, as it is, very few people can link up because people are making up fake nations, and fake nations, it's hard to really press your point. You can't press your point when you're making up names and then it doesn't line up with the history books, which the history books are lies, but I'm not even going to go with the history books, but with the court records, I'll put it like that. When it doesn't line up with the court records and the data, the historical data, that's a problem. So I wanted to ask the panel, go through each one and just figure out, what are you doing and how are you doing it? Because that's the most important thing. It's really good to have, let's look at it. Let's dissect it in a different way. Let's present it as prisoner of wars, blah, blah, blah. I don't know about the Civil War thing. I don't know if I agree with that thing not being real, because obviously some military action happened that stole the land from the indigenous people of the South, who were the major landowners and the wealthy people. So, a military action had to occur. It didn't happen like they're telling it to us, but it definitely happened. Things were burnt down, land was robbed, and that's why you got a whole lot of angry rednecks out there to this day who don't want to let go because they know they just got it. But anyway, just what I wanted to know. I'm gonna go ahead and step on out and listen. And I appreciate you guys for being out here, bringing this information out, because like I said, it triggers a lot of thinking and motivates people. Sometimes it's the right word at the right time, and that's what does it. So thank you for that. And I'm out.
So I'm not sure if that person was here in the beginning, but we answered all of that. We can do it again if you want. We'll all give our lineage again. And I don't know how much time we have, Mr. But we would have to point back to the documents that prove there was no Civil War. I'm not sure when that caller came in on the video.
I think she caught, when we did, say who we were, where we were from. I think she was asking mainly, what are we doing? And I thought, all I can think about is what y'all do behind the scenes. Each one, reach one, teach one. That's number one. And then, it goes beyond the channel as well. But she quiet where she keep going. She better get it can speak probably more on that.
I'll say one thing that I'm doing personally. First and foremost, knowing who you are, what you are, Cherokee, whatever your tribe is, that's a being. So as far as trying to reclaim or claim a status, especially underneath this government, which we just highlighted is bullshit, that's something I'm not putting my energy into. Me knowing is enough. As far as what I'm doing is getting back to nature, natural law. Again, something that we highlighted earlier in our 12 steps is actually getting gold and silver. That's the world's currency, not this paper. So being aligned with nature and aligned with other peoples of this planet by using that form of governance, form of actual money is one, and also not participating, not giving my energy into this government, not signing up for our people's demise when it comes to voting. That's what I believe. That's what it is. Whenever we're putting our energy, our spirit, our being into a candidate within the system that we know is not made for us, is backwards to me. Let's focus on, again, like you stated, reestablishing our own governments. But first, it starts at awakening the minds to know who you are and what is your actual government. If you're from the Southeast, you're more than likely from the Greek Confederacy. You're from the Northeast, possibly Iroquois. So understanding again where you come from and then moving accordingly and in alignment with that is what you do. And that's something like I say I've been personally doing.
Let me hit this. Jay Goddess wants to know, what is you guys' Facebook and YouTube info?
Got you. Perfect. You can get us on YouTube at The Lost Confederacy, THELOST Confederacy. We're also on Instagram, same name, The Lost Confederacy. No Facebook, but those are two platforms you can reach us at.
And for me, for me, I think that everything definitely that Chief Vico hit on, but also just understanding that it's not an I thing. It's, it starts with one person and it grows from there. And I think that individuals are not going to be able to do this big thing by themselves. It's going to take the whole collective of us to move us into a new mindset in regards to establishing our identity. But at the end of the day, we are American, and that's basically what I stand on. And just learning this information, because most of this information, we've been doing this for over a year now. Never learned any of this in school ever. And so it just opened my eyes to understand that it really don't take much. Like, we just proved that it was how many people who signed the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, it doesn't. It's just going to take a collective of us to move us forward. And I don't think that it's an individual journey.
Can you let them know what, you said American, but what tribe from America?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, Choctaw and Cherokee.
So for me, my mother who's still living, I came out of a Choctaw woman. I came out of a Cherokee woman's womb. So for me, going over half my life thinking I'm Black, thinking I'm Afro-American, I like to call it Negro culture, caught up in Negro culture. But my family was organized and had family reunions every 2 years. So it took for me to get in chapter 4 of life and for me to start asking more serious questions to my family about who we are. And that's when my mom disclosed to me that she's Cherokee. Then the next question comes, well, if we're Cherokee, how we got all this land? We can't be slaves because slaves don't own nothing. So to better explain that question that she asked, we have to remember, and I'm not going to say sell out, I'll just say maybe fear, but there was a lot of Americans that went into contract with the European and the United States government. And so now you become a subsidiary of that government. But there's also a huge group of people which are in the South that never went into contract with them. We're the ones that got reclassified: Negro, colored, Black, Afro-American, now people of color. So it's not about going to them trying to get anything from them. It's about us making this bankrupt government dissolve. It has no money at this point. There is no money as of 1970. We really got to understand that there is no money. So what we have to do is a we thing, is stop supporting their bankrupt government that has no money. All we have to do is just point the mirror back at them and say, you love your forefathers, right? George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, those are your forefathers, right? You believe in this Constitution, right? Okay, Article 1, Section 10 says the only thing that can pay for debt is gold and silver. Why ain't never been paid gold or silver in my whole life? So you put their document back in their face and show them how they full of shit. The only way it's going to dissolve is we have to stop supporting it. As long as we're supporting it, it's like we're asking for our own ass whoopings.
Could you repeat that one more time?
Which part, Mr. Buck?
Your last 10 words.
About the money?
About us asking for this ass whooping.
Correct. Because this government is bankrupt and has had no money since 1970, every time we participate in it, we're basically telling them it's okay to whoop my ass. They can't do it without your consent. So when you vote for somebody that doesn't have an agenda for you, they can look at the world and say, see, we're not doing nothing wrong to them because they're participating in it. They want this. So I find it interesting that we would have never gotten a Civil Rights Act if it wasn't for the state of Alabama and not riding the bus system for an entire year. What happens if all of us sit down? Correct. See, we think we don't have any power until we stop playing their game. We're in a fair with coupons, like going to Six Flags. They give you a little season pass. You got coupons and you can go shoot the basketball all day long, but those coupons are only good in that park. That's what this fiat currency is. It's not worth nothing unless you believe it's worth something. We just gotta wake up and realize, according to your Constitution, you said gold and silver was money. What the fuck is this?
Why am I paying on the debt for a house if I'm not getting paid in the currency that's supposed to pay off said house? Why am I, just start asking these questions again. And that's what we do, just show the bullshit and the contradictions in their documents. It's like, oh yeah, why would I participate? They ain't even following their own rules.
Right.
Why would I follow them?
And she had a great question. I think she was alluding, and again, it sounded like she was like, what are we doing outside of YouTube? And it's like, we doing what we talking. Converting our money. Again, we really understand that there's no money, so we're getting the money. We're trying to get the real money. And so make sure when it is time to go, it's time to go. And again, not participating in the rituals, all that bullshit. Again, asking for your own ass, but who, war, not commercial war, which one you want. It won't matter. You know, why the hood still like the hood? Why the hood still like the hood? That's one of my favorite questions I ask myself. How the hood still like the hood, but gentrification across the street? But my people in the so vote, and how many times you got to vote before somebody says, "Oh, maybe we should," you know, stop playing with them.
And if I could ask your viewers one question, Mr. Buck.
Yes, sir.
Why don't we try boycotting for 13 weeks? A fiscal quarter is 3 months. That's one of our steps that we talk about as a group of people. We don't think we got power. We're seeing Kyrie, Kanye, murders on video, no murder charges. So we think we have no power. Why don't we just try to collectively boycott all these immigrant businesses for 13 weeks?
See what happens.
And that's what we're doing. Get out their system. Convert to fiat. Convert it. Make them come to us like our grandparents did in the 1960s. When they stopped riding them buses for a year, them Europeans said, okay, what do we need to do? Y'all want integration? But here's the one thing we messed up on. Yeah, we can integrate after you right your wrongs for the Jim Crow era. After you right your wrongs for the unlawful wars. They never had to pay back what they done. This time we boycott them and we make them give it all back. The industries, the inventions, all of it, it's ours. We invented all these industries. And then they outsourced it to Asia. Now here we are, a consumer nation. No, you run a consumer nation. We're the people of the land. We no longer want to be a part of your shit. It don't work. You got men claiming to be girls, girls claiming to be men. What are you talking about?
Like I said, it's madness. We don't even know who's on this earth no more.
Yeah, like I said.
Claiming to be whatever they want. And it's like, we gotta get back to it.
I have faith in us, to your caller, Lisa. I really have faith in us that we can do what my grandparents did. We can boycott this system. We can sit down and watch them people after 3 weeks of us not participating in their entertainment. They start asking questions. What's going on with the Negro? And then those puppets that they put on TV can't answer why, because they're not part of the soil. Then eventually they have to come to the real spokespeople of the people. And then we can call them on their shit. Their constitution, how there's no money, how they have unlawful wars. We got to get them to listen to us. Right now they're not listening because we keep spinning our fiat within their fake system.
Cool, man. I'm blown away. Did you guys get it in the chat? Did you guys pick up what these brothers and sisters were saying?
No, we got a little gangsta.
Oh man, no, because this is the kind of talk we got to be having daily.
Right.
Daily.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So I just want to say you guys are welcome back anytime. Any new info that comes up, please share it. Because I got that. You heard the young lady Lisa. She's one of them sisters out there putting hands on them. And there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there doing stuff, but since they're not part of the in crowd, they're kind of ignored. So you guys just, shed some light on yourselves, shed some light on them, and I appreciate it. And I'm grateful for you sharing.
We definitely appreciate the opportunity to come and speak on your platform, for sure.
And CNUICU said, shit, let's start the boycotting on Thanksgiving. I'm with it.
Do it. Let's do it.
Let's get it.
That's how I start.
Yeah.
That's how I start.
But I've been boycotting that for years, though. But
Yeah.
start now. Man, you're right. Man, you stop, man. Because we're the consumers. I ask people, where do you go? And the indigenous people aren't the majority of people.
Right.
Listen, Buck, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
How old were you when the boycott happened in Alabama? And do you remember that boycott?
I don't, what was that, 63, 64?
It would have been in the early 60s.
because I was born in 64.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
you're like us then. We've never seen a win in our whole lives. We've never seen our people win.
right. And you know, I talked to a lot of the elders down here. And I don't know, man. To me, it's a life or death situation. You know, where you seeing a whole nation of people wiped out. I don't think it was intended to be like that. You know, and we just go with it. So, you know, boy, I mean, we got to have our own, man, and it'll happen fast if we all participate.
Right.
It won't be this 30, 40-year thing. It'll happen like that.
Like that, man.
Yeah.
And it'll start, and we need to start in the entertainment industry because that's where we can get the most attention.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's gonna have to be some different kind of comedy, some different kind of films, you know, different kind of you know what be a good idea. Remember how they used to have them old radio programs like Amos and Andy and all that? I mean, I think you can use this platform and others like it to do stuff like that.
Correct.
You know, it don't have to be a $50 million movie. It can be with, you know, what you have. And I think we're innovative enough to make that happen.
Absolutely.
So,
And they're at their weakest point right now. We have to remember they're bankrupt. They just called a fake pandemic to print a whole bunch of fiat and bail out all the businesses. This is the moment. This is the window that the universe is saying, look, we're exposing. It's all falling apart.
Yep.
All we got to do is sit down and watch the power we have.
That's all.
Crumble.
And if we sit down, the entertainers will sit down. But see, we don't have their back. So why would I put, if I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, why would I put everything I got on the line and I know y'all ain't gonna ride for me?
Right.
So we got to look at it from Kyrie's standpoint. Like, okay, I stood up, but I don't see y'all riding. So guess what? Yeah, I'm gonna apologize. I'm gonna go back and get this fake bag. Why? Y'all ain't got my back. But if we stand up and just say, nah, give a damn about your football, give a damn about your basketball.
Right.
Real.
Thank you again, Mr. Buck.
Yeah,
Hey man, well, hey, I appreciate you guys coming on. I'm sure the chat does too. I'm sure they'll let me know. And you guys are welcome back anytime. Thank you guys again.
Likewise.
Thank you so much.
Okay. You guys have a good night.
All right.
All right.